A young woman of about 15 years old stood quietly in a lush garden. She wore trousers, boots, and a tunic secured in place with a thick leather belt. The garden that she was standing in resided in the bounds of her parents' estate, which stood proudly before her in the distance. She gazed at the small pond, watching a pair of ducks bob around in the water. Her brow was furrowed as she wrestled with an ever-persistent feeling of frustration. Her contemplation was abruptly interrupted by the sound of a servant boy calling her name.
Lady Evelyn? Lady Evelyn? Oh, there you are.
What is it?
Your mother is calling for you.
Can it wait?
Well...
Did she mention why she wanted to see me?
No, not directly. But I do think it has something to do with your dress.
Great.
Evelyn sighed and began walking back to the mansion, the boy in tow. She reached the threshold of the double doors facing the gardens and stepped through, finding herself immediately in a spacious living room. The room was decorated with elegant pieces of furniture, potted plants, and ornate golden candelabra. On the other side, next to the bottom of a wide staircase, was her mother, who was frantically hovering over a seamstress handling a fine light dress of cyan hue.
No, folded the other way. Yes, just like that. Oh, Evelyn.
Cecilia pushed a stray lock of hair to the side and picked up her dress as she walked over to meet Evelyn with a hug.
Hello, dear. We were just putting the finishing touches on your dress for the party tonight.
Mother,
Oh, and would you please change out of those clothes? You look like a peasant.
I do not.
Evelyn, you're a lady. Ladies do not dress this way, especially those of the Cromley family. I expect you to be rid of this drab, and soon. And don't forget to wear this dress we had custom made for you to celebrate your return.
All right, I'll change.
Tonight will be so much fun. Oh, I should go check on the girls in the kitchen. Be right back.
Cecilia turned and briskly walked down the hall to where the kitchen was, her dress swishing with every step she took. Evelyn sighed for what felt like the 100th time that day as she settled onto a nearby armchair. The seamstress, Elia, glanced up at Evelyn.
She is very excited to see you again.
I know. I just don't like wearing dresses anymore, especially the frilly kind. They're uncomfortable and hard to move around in.
Yes. But your mother has missed her little girl dearly. Your father, too.
I'm not a little girl anymore. That was 3 years ago. I'm a woman now.
Indeed, you are. But she struggles to see that. Give her some time.
I guess you're right.
For the remainder of the day, up until just before the party, which was to take place a couple hours before sunset, Evelyn lounged around in the living room, delaying putting on the dress as much as possible. Having spent the past 3 years in a remote area of the forest, Evelyn had become accustomed to the rugged life, and eventually came to prefer it. While the distance from her parents was difficult, she adjusted and assumed a measure of independence, which opened the door to maturation. As a result, her disdain for wearing fanciful clothes only grew, and she had nearly forgotten how overbearing her mother can be at times. Finally, Evelyn rose to her feet and started walking to her bedroom where Elia left her dress. As she passed through the foyer and began walking up the stairs, the front door swung open and 2 men walked in whilst bellowing with laughter. She turned to see her father, Robert, with one of his closest friends, George. Evelyn rushed over and wrapped her arms around him.
Father!
Hey there, Bug. You're finally back. Look at you. You've grown so much.
Hello, Evelyn. It's nice to see you again.
It's good to see you, too.
Have you been terrorizing the animals out in the forest?
No.
I'm sure she has. George, go ahead and make yourself comfortable. People will start to arrive soon. In the meantime, I have some catching up to do.
You're not gonna believe what I've learned. Maze has taught me so many things.
I'm excited to hear about it.
As George walked off into another room, Evelyn led her father up the stairs while explaining what she had learned and experienced in the past 3 years. Robert listened attentively, enamored by his daughter's enthusiasm.
Oh, and also, we got a dragon!
A dragon? I thought those were myth.
Well, the one we have is real as ever. His name is Casper, and we got him when he was just a pup.
Where did you go to get this dragon?
We traveled very far south to some breeder. There was sand everywhere and barely any trees.
Oh, that sounds like Darmos. I've only been there once before. It's a very hot place.
Evelyn wrinkled her nose, remembering the heat of the sun, the endless winds carrying sand and dust, and the ever-present desire to drink water.
Yes, it was.
Robert, Evelyn, our guests are starting to arrive.
Be right there. You'd better get changed.
Yeah.
Robert turned and walked down the stairs as Evelyn entered her old bedroom. It was the same as she had left it. A large bed with silk sheets resided next to a huge white wardrobe with golden trim, almost reaching the ceiling in height. In the other corner sat a dollhouse, accompanied by several dolls made of porcelain, all donned with miniature dresses and fanciful garments. Evelyn briefly regarded the dolls, remembering having played with them on numerous occasions with her friends in the past. She turned her attention to the cyan dress that Elia sewed for her. It was simple and elegant in appearance and style, but it was still a dress. Nonetheless, Evelyn set to work on preparing herself for the party. She felt it was going to be a long night. As the sun drew closer to the horizon, many carriages filled with family friends of the Cromleys lined up in front of the mansion. Evelyn saw many faces that she recognized, not only her own friends, but also friends of her parents. The ballroom was filled and lively as a small group of musicians played a pleasant accompaniment to the social function, and platters of fruits and desserts lined the tables. Evelyn and her friends sat at one such table, all in their fanciful dresses and white gloves. The group consisted of Rosa, Aspen, Edith, Matilda, and of course, Evelyn. Matilda was, as per usual, leading the conversation.
Last month, I visited the royal castle in the capital city. My parents were invited by one of the members of the royal court to talk business. They let us stay in the guest wing of the castle. It was so wonderful.
Did you see any cute boys?
Several. And they all desperately vied for my hand. I could barely leave my quarters without them nipping at my heels like lost puppies. What about you, Evelyn? Did you see any cute boys in... Where was it you went?
No. There weren't any cute boys out there, unfortunately.
So, what did you do then?
Well, I learned how to fight and to use a bow, and I learned about magic.
What's magic?
It's...
Oh, Edith, don't make her explain everything.
But
Just let it go. You're such a pest sometimes.
Edith fell silent, and her eyes turned down to the half-eaten biscuit that lay on the table before her. Evelyn frowned and found herself deeply troubled. Like many times in the past, she would join in with Matilda, but something in her stirred and rose up.
Hey, that was mean.
Matilda turned her haughty gaze to Evelyn and raised an eyebrow as the other girls looked on in surprise.
What?
Edith was only curious. You didn't have to attack her like that.
That's a nice dress. Where did you get it?
This was just made by our seamstress, Elia. What about yours?
This is the finest dress my father could acquire in all of Orson. Isn't it lovely?
Matilda beamed, sitting proudly in her deep blue dress with an ornate corset of silk and lace. It was indeed a dress of notable style.
Really? All of Orson?
Yes, Rosa. Don't you know of my family's wealth?
Well,
Whatever, it's not like you pay attention to anything.
Yes, I do.
Oh, please. These walls could be on fire and you wouldn't even notice.
That's not true. I do pay attention.
Oh, is that why your little brother drowned in the well last summer?
Rosa leaned back and her mouth hung open in shock, as if someone had struck her in the face. Matilda paid no mind to Rosa's reaction as she reached for her glass and took a sip. Rosa burst into tears and abruptly stood and walked away as Edith and Aspen remained still and quiet. Evelyn, similarly in disbelief, rose to her feet and looked directly into Matilda's cold brown eyes.
That was such a wretched thing to say.
It's still true.
That doesn't mean you should have said it.
It's not my problem that she can't handle the truth.
Come on, girls. Let's go somewhere else.
I think Rosa went to the gardens.
Let's join her, shall we?
Leaving so soon? I suppose some people just can't handle reality.
Evelyn turned and summoned mana from within her being. Using the training she received from Maze, she weaved a spell with her mind and cast it onto Matilda.
Not another word from you.
She then walked towards the double doors that led out to the gardens, Edith and Aspen in tow. Matilda tried to speak, but her tongue would not obey, and her eyes grew wide as she watched the group walk away. The three girls ventured out into the cool night air, walking past various features of the gardens, guided by the light of the numerous lampposts. They found Rosa a ways back, sitting on a bench, and joined her.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Matilda said some awful things.
She always says awful things. I don't understand what her problem is.
I've never seen you stand up to her, Evelyn. That was something else.
Yeah, you do seem a little different. But in a good way, of course.
Yes, I am different now. I suppose that's because of my studies in magic.
How so?
Well, the more I used it, the more I would begin to see the world in a different way. I would spend hours every day practicing directing the flow of mana through my body, and I think that's what did it.
Wow, maybe I want to learn magic now.
Matilda could certainly use some of it too.
For the rest of the evening, the girls discussed the various things they'd been up to since Evelyn departed. Evelyn enjoyed reconnecting with her old friends. It felt authentic. It felt good. Then, one by one, families and friends of the Cromleys began to leave. Evelyn, her mother, and her father met with every guest in the foyer to bid farewell, until there remained George.
Farewell, Evelyn. And to you, Cecilia.
Good night, George.
And you. Will I see you at the brewery next week?
Only if you're ready to lose another game of falling cards.
Goodbye, my friends.
Bye, George.
Goodness, I'm exhausted.
Me too.
How much longer are you staying? I'd love to take you into town tomorrow. Just like old times.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'll have to leave in a few weeks. I'm eager to get back to my studies.
You'll visit more often, won't you, dear?
I will. I promise.
Let's get to sleep. It's late.
Yes, let's.